everyone, Lickety Split here. Today we're working on a kit from Warhammer Age of Sigmar from the Maggotkin of Nurgle, Rodigus the Rainfather. This is from the kit that you can either build a couple different variants of the Great Unclean one, or you can build Rodigus. This kit, obviously, I went with Rodigus. He's not as... It looks like it's going to be a fun figure to paint, but Nurgle usually is, because you can kind of mess up or just try new things. And as long as it looks gross, you're good. You'll have something that should look good on tabletop. Now, Rodigus here, he is primered in Wraithbone, and I went ahead and hit the whole thing with a dry brush of white scar. The reason why I did that is because when I do the contrast and the shades paints on it, the highlights where the white scar show will be colored slightly different, slightly brighter than where the Wraithbone is. Just kind of an extra step on how to get going. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. The first color we're going to be starting with is some Seraphim Sepia. And I've got this thinned down to 4 parts Seraphim Sepia and 1 part Lamy Medium. That kind of extends the workability of it, and the drying time just makes it a little easier. So I got a nice big brush, and the pattern I'm following is basically I'm going to do each rolls of fat, like here, I'll do this here. So you do each one with nice long strokes. Okay. And that will end up getting a nice smooth color for you. So don't just go paint the whole thing. Do it one little section at a time. Kind of break it up a little bit. And the Seraphim Sepia is just going to go on the skin. It'll go on his face too, but it won't go in any of these wounds. It'll go over all the boils. We'll paint them, but like it won't go on the horns. It won't go on the cowl. His little cloth, or I'm going to try to leave out as many of the tentacles as well, because we're painting them a little different. Okay, I'll finish this up and be back. Okay, we're going to move on to the next color. Our next color is going to be a mixture of 2-to-1 of Cygor Brown to Lamy Medium, and we're going to use this on his little cloth on the back side here. So we want it to kind of sink into the recesses and kind of lighten up the high points. So that's why I went with a mixture of 2 parts Cygor Brown to 1 part Lamy, because that also helps bring out the nice red that's in Cygor Brown. Otherwise it can just get overwhelmed. Okay, I'll finish it up, be back. Okay, we're going to go on to the next color, and the next color is going to be some Matarian Grind, and we're going to use this to shade the recesses in the folds of Rodigus's fat. This step will take a little bit of time, because Rodigus is a big old beefy boy, so he's got quite a bit in there. So you don't want to hit the ridges with this. You just want to go into the recesses to provide some extra depth on this one. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. Okay, we're going to move on to the next color. Our next color is going to be some Screaming Skull. And we're going to use this as a dry brush on Rodicus's skin. That's probably a little bit much. So using one of these rounded dry brushes, I'm going to do it in circular motions to hopefully catch everything and make it a little bit smoother. So we'll be going around the skin, going clockwise and then counterclockwise. clockwise, counterclockwise. And we'll just be proceeding around and slowly building up the skin until we get to a point where we're happy with how it's turning out. Do light layers, don't push down too much. You can always come back and do more, but it's much harder to take the dry brush off. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up and be back. Okay, let's move on to our next color. Next color is gonna be some Maggots Earthshade. We're gonna put this on a few areas. We're gonna put them on parts of his toes, parts of his feet, the flesh underneath his butt, and we're also gonna shade the cloth with it. So, just gonna get in here, spread it out nice and even. Use the box art to give you an idea of exactly where the stuff needs to go. So, or you can just kind of spread it out a little more. I mean, it is Nurgle after all. You can kind of go off the rails. It'll probably still look good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and keep working on this, and I'll be back. All right, we're going to go on to the next color. Next color is going to be some Reichman Flesh Shade. And we're going to go ahead and put this on his toes and his feet, place where we put the Maggots Earthshade, and under the flesh under his butt. So we got it here, a little bit on the side, kind of around the heel, and underneath the butt, and of course on his toes here, and a little bit back here. All right, I'm going to finish it up and be back. Okay, on our next color comes some Nuln Oil. And we're going to be using this all over Rodugus's horns. Just take your brush load, spread it over it nice and even, and go after pooling, like so. Finish it up and be back. Okay, we're going to do the next step while the Nuln Oil is still wet. We're going to take some rattling grime and we're going to put it up towards the top of the horns. All right, we'll get it on there, and then we'll go ahead and wash the brush, touch off the water, and kind of pull it down a little bit, kind of blend that darker rattling grime into the Nuln Oil. And you do it when it's wet, and it just kind of goes together like butter, nice and easy. It just works really well. Okay, I'm going to do this on the other horn and be back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be a 4-to-1 mixture. 4-part Sigvold Burgundy to 1 part Lamy Medium. And we are going to use this as the base coat for Rodugus's cowl. Well, I like to go to the 4-to-1 mixture of the contrast paint, like the Sigvold to the Lamian, because what it does is it does thin it out, but it also, I'm not worried about the skull, we're going to paint that metallic later, is it also kind of extends the drying time a little bit, so it makes it a little more workable for a little longer. So that's why I've been doing that. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, on to our next color. Our next color is going to be a mixture 4-to-1 of lupus pink to lamy and medium, and we're going to be putting this several places. We're putting in all the open wounds. We're going to put it on the gums, inside the belly mouth, inside the mouth here. This face here, the open parts here, any wounds. And that will be, yeah, the wounds, open wounds back here, open wounds here. So that's where they'll be going. So we'll go ahead and start getting to work on that. Oops, a little more. There we go. All right, I'm going to get to work on these and finish them up and be back. Okay, we'll move on to the next color. Next color is going to be some Berserker Bloodshade. And we're going to be putting this anywhere there's an open wound. Move along the gums, so there we go. Open wounds, sinewy muscle in here. Any of these little wounds that we did that came open. Little ones back here. All right, I'm gonna work on this and finish it right up. Okay, we'll go on to our next color. Our next color is gonna be some Carolberg Crimson. And we're gonna use these on old Rodriguez's nipples. And I'll finish this up and be back. Okay, on our next color is going to be a mixture. It's going to be a 1-to-1 mixture of a lupus pink and lamy and medium. We're going to place this on Rodriguez's cowl. Two nice long easy strokes. Try to go one section at a time, like this fold here, this section here, and you can use it to kind of, if there are little spots you might have missed in the undercolor, in the base color, then you can kind of pick them up in this step. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, let's get to work on, start to get to work on Rodriguez's staff. We're going to use a mixture, 4-to-1 mixture of Militarum Green and Lamian Medium. We're going to do it part way down. Oh, dude. Probably about here. And then we'll wash the brush, touch off the water, and then kind of blend it down into the rest of it. And we'll do this from one side, then we'll flip it over and do the other side. Okay, I'm gonna get back to work on this and I'll be back. Okay, on to the next color. Next color is going to be a little blood for the blood god. Probably a little much on the blush. And we're going to basically go around to the gums. Like in the mouth here. And the open wound, just kind of dabbing it in there. Just to add a little more flavor and texture. So, no real rhyme or reason, just whatever you feel like. Like these ones, I don't think I'll put it in there. Just more of the bigger ones. But you can do it either way. All right, I'll finish this up, be back. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next color. Next color is gonna be some Achillean green. And we're gonna be using these on some of the smaller tentacles that Rodigus has on his body. Like this one here. So I'll go ahead and take it, wash the brush, take a little bit off the tip. This is really that part's really optional. You can just put the Achillean green on there and call it good, and we'll be hitting it with some other things later. Okay, but you're not going to do the big ones like these here, right here, this one, or this one, or this one. Those will all be done in a different method. I'll show you later. Okay, I'm going to get back to it and finish it up. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be a 4-to-1 mixture of 4 parts Rift Charger Gray to 1 part Lamy Medium. And we're going to use this on a few different places. One of the places we're going to use it on, of course, is going to be the tentacles. We are also going to use it as a base coat for the maggots here. And most importantly, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going along the edge of the mouths here. Now I'm not going to do too much. I'm going to do a little bit like that. I'm going to wash the brush, touch off the water, and I want to blend this in. I don't want a hard line. I want a nice smooth line in between the two. Right there. So you don't have a nice hard edge. That's probably a little too far out, so we can get rid of some of that. So then I'm going to go to another part. And I'm going to do small parts at a time. Because it's really important that we get to it while it's still wet. The lamy helps with the drying time some. So we get in there and kind of smooth out that hard line, because we don't want that hard edge that'll come from the color. Probably need a little more color back here. I was a little too enthusiastic in my spreading out. Go there, like so. And wash the brush again. Touch off the water. And then, okay, I can see there's a hard line right here right now, but we don't want that. So that's why we're going along. I'm kind of blending it out. Make sure we don't get too far in there. Try to brush off a little bit so I can pull that out. So what I plan on doing with this, let's spread this out a little more, is I'm going to go around all the wounds, all these big gaping wounds, and I'm going to do it around them. Okay, I'll get this done and be back. Okay, while we wait for that Rift Charger Gray mix to dry, so we can do the next step on that, we're going to move on to our bit of armor here, and we're going to be doing a 4-to-1 mixture of iron hand, steel, and lamy and medium. Just kind of thin it out a little bit so it easily runs in all the recesses. A little bit there, in there. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back with the next step. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be a 4-to-1 mixture of Nazdrag Yellow to Lamy Medium, and we're going to be painting this on any of the cracked skin here. We've got some here, we've got some here, and I think that's it. And we'll also be doing it on boils, like the boils here. There's some boils here. And I'll probably pick out a couple of bigger boils that get separated out, like this one here. Anything with its own reservoir on it, I might do, or I might not. Doesn't matter. You go ahead and pick the one you want. So I'll go ahead and start with an ad drag yellow here. Because it's also got the cracked skin around it, we're going to go around it a little bit. And like we did before, we're going to wash the brush, touch off the water, and we're going to spread that out so we don't get a harsh line between the two. Gotta pull it down a little bit. Something like that. I'm going to do the same thing in the other places. So I'll put it in, and then around the edges I'll spread it out. Okay, I will be back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Poxwalker. We're going to be playing on a few areas. We're going to be doing it on Rodicus's face, and then when we get down to his cheeks, we'll blend it in like we did the Griff Charge of Gray. We're going to be doing the boils, and we'll blend it in around the boils. And we'll also be doing it around this face and his hand here. Around this side here, and around there, and we'll blend it in as well. So I'm going to start with his face. We'll get it in there. Nice green. Really nice color, this Poxwalker. Really like it. Okay, we'll get it here. And then we'll go ahead and wash the brush. Touch off the water. And we're gonna blend it down, pull it down, so there's not a hard line that kind of transitions in, because you don't want that hard line. All right, let's go ahead and do a little bit more. So we're gonna do these, oops, too much. So I'll show you what I mean by the boils. We're gonna do them around the boils, so around these things here. And then I guess we'll wash the brush again to it, and then kind of blend it out. Just so there's not that hard line, because if you just let it dry, there will be this hard, definite line. You don't want that. You want to kind of blend in. And I'm also going to do it around his face. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. So go ahead and pop it in around there. And this may or may not be exactly like the box art, but that's okay. It's Nurgle. I'm sure he changes his look all the time. Good old Rodigus the Rainfather. So just kind of have at it and have some fun. I mean, why else would we do this stuff unless we enjoy it? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and work on the rest of this, and I'll be back. Okay, we're going to go on to our next step with Rodigus here, and we're going to work some more around these wounds. What we're going to do is take some mixture of 4:1 Black Templar and Lamia Medium. We're going to paint it close to the edge of the mouths and the wounds. Okay. And then we're going to wash the brush. And we're going to, that's a little much down there. Let's take some off. So what we're going to do is kind of blend it in to the Griff Charge of Gray mix that we had before. Being careful when it gets a little thick, thin it out a little bit. Careful not to get a defined line. Kind of take your brush and kind of smooth it out a little bit. Get a little bit like that, you can wipe it off with your finger. So we'll go ahead and do one more part here. Just keeping it close. This won't be a thick area. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. Wash the brush. Touch off some of the water. and then kind of smooth out that transition. So it kind of blends into the black, or into the clear charger gray, and we don't have a defined line. Okay, I'm gonna go on and finish it up on the rest of Rodigus and be back. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next step. Our next step's gonna be some 4:1 Garrigax sewer on his wand here, on the wood part that we didn't paint green earlier. And I'm gonna try to avoid those mushrooms as much as I can so we can maybe do something. And there's a little maggot right here, right there. I'll try to paint around him so make it show up later. And there's another little maggot right here. And there's one back here. And there's one here. Let's see if there's any up here. I don't see any up top, but be careful. Might be some back here. So just go ahead and paint it. Try to avoid, oops, like that. Wipe it off. Try to avoid the maggots and the mushrooms if you can. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next color. Next color is going to be some Space Wolves Gray. Of course, we've thinned this in a 4:1 ratio of Space Wolves Gray to Lamy Medium. So we're going to take these on the tentacles. We're going to let it about 2/3 of the way up, like so. Okay. Then we're going to wash the brush, touch off the water, and kind of pull it in so there's not a hard line of transition between the two colors. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on all the rest of the tentacles, and I'll be back. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next color. Next color is going to be a little bit of deep kin flesh. And we're going to use those like this, little dots on the boils that we have painted. Kind of so like they look like they're just about ready to burst. Just something like that. A little bit. Yeah. There. Just like that. All right, I'm going to finish it up and be back. Okay, we'll go on to the next color. Next color is some Aggaros Dunes. We're going to put some Aggaros Dunes on his teeth, which I went through and cleaned them up a little bit. Not a whole lot. Put a light color of Wraithbone on there. I almost put them on there. We're going to hit it with some Aggaros Dunes. There we go, like so. I'll put a fair amount on there. And we're also going to do his toenails and his fingernails with some Aggaros Dunes. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. Yeah, on the next color is going to be a little bit of Plague Bear Flesh, and we're going to use this on the mushrooms on Rodigus's wand here. Alright, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, we're going to go on to the next color. Next color is going to be another 4:1 mix. It's going to be Black Templar to Lamy Medium. And we're going to work on old Rodigus's tentacles again. We're going to take this from the base, go about 1/3 of the way out. So, wash the brush, touch off the water, and then kind of blend it in, just like so. So there isn't a hard transition. So we take it in there, we go about 1/3 of the way up, wash the brush, and kind of blend it in. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up and be back. Okay, I got a little ahead of myself. I just went ahead and gave the armor a wash of gnome oil. Okay, now I'm gonna go on to it's highlighting or dry brushing the butt cloth here, or whatever you want to call it. And the color I'm using here is some Morn Fang Brown. Just go along, getting it. Don't worry about getting on the little skull there. We'll be painting over that later. You know, metallic, so it'll cover real well. Okay, move on to the next step. Okay, let's do our next color. Next color, we'll be finishing up our butt cloth. We're going to give it a nice light dry brush. That's probably a little bit too much on there. Some Carrick Stone. Okay, that'll do it. Okay, we'll go on to the next color. Next color is going to be some Screaming Skull. We're going to be using this to kind of highlight the skin a little bit. A little more on the rest of that. What we'll be doing is kind of using it to make get some highlights, but then again also there are some places in here where I had this, much as I tried, I had some hard line transitions. So I'm going to try to use this to kind of blend those in, mask them a little bit. Just go around, kind of hit the edges. Hit the high points. So there's some bigger mistakes here. I'll have to go back and touch those up. Just catching some highlights. All right, I'm gonna finish this up and be back. Okay, next color is some Scrag Brown. We're gonna put this onto our armor. Kind of make it look kind of rusty and nasty. Just like that, kind of build it up in some areas. Just like that. Okay, on to our next step. Okay, we want the next color. Next color is going to be some Deathclaw Brown, and we're going to be using this kind of some areas that we put the Scrag Brown on, kind of get more of that two-layered rust look, kind of like that. Okay, on to the next step. Here we're going to move on to our next step. Our next step is going to get a little bit of warp lightning. We're going to use this for Rodugus's eye. A little bit in there. Kind of lightly spread it outside the eye too. Just around there. Wash the brush. Get out some water. And then kind of take some of the stuff off that's around the eye. Like so. Okay, we're going to do some Shopty Bone. And we're going to take this and kind of lighten up the ends of his tentacles. Trying to more closely match the box art. So we're lightly doing them. Do a little less than what you think is going to work. Because because you can always come back and add more. Okay, I'm going to get back. I'm going to finish up the tentacle and get back to you. Okay, on our next step, we're going to do a little bit more shop to bone, but we're going to do it as a glaze. So it's about 6 parts water to 1 part. That's a little much. 1 part paint, and doing this to kind of smooth out the graininess you can sometimes get with dry brushing, just to make it a little smoother. Kind of optional. If you think the way you did it looks good enough, and not really necessary to do this part. Another thing I did do with the dry brush we talked about is I did lightly go over the rest of the tentacles to kind of bring things out. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, on the next color is going to be some Kids Love Flesh. And we're going to use this to add some highlights to, some spot highlights to the wounds, the mouth here, the wounds, and then in here in the face. Just picking out little spots, just to add a little more variety and depth. No specific spots, just something to kind of break it up a little bit, add some differentiate parts of it, trying to get some of the higher spots. So this doesn't go in the recesses, but it goes in the higher spots. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Alright, on to the next color. Next color is going to be some Pallid Witch Flesh. I'm going to use this to catch some highlights in the horn. And kind of edge, using the edge of the brush just to catch the high points. And we're also going to use it on the teeth with a little bit, and probably a little much on his mouth. And also on the teeth down here. Something like that. Maybe touch it up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to finish working on these, and we'll be back. Here we move on to the next color. Next color is going to be some Screamer Pink. We were taking this very lightly across this to kind of catch the higher areas. Kind of using a little circular motion, very lightly trying to brush it. So I'm going to pick up the higher areas. And like so, leaving the recesses alone. The purpose of a dry brush like this, just to catch the higher ridges. Okay, I'm going to finish them up and be back. Okay, our next color is going to be some Emperor's Children. We're going to just kind of try to catch some of the edges on Rodriguez's cowl here. Just getting the highest points. Trying to anyway. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and work on this and be right back. Okay, on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Scream Skull. We're going to go ahead and work on all the little finishing touch and all the little maggots. We got a little bit of light dry brush to bring out the edges of the maggots in his mouth. Like so. Not too much, you don't want to overwhelm it. And then there's a bunch of small maggots inside the wounds. There's one on his face here. And there's some in the wounds. You just have to go through and pick them out. The ones in here, I'm going to pick out some Screaming Skull. This one, I'm probably going to add a little bit of Discharge of Gray to it. And of course this one here too. And then do the Screaming Skull later. I'm going to get 2 of these guys and get back to you. Okay, one other thing I forgot to mention with the Screaming Skull to pick out is we've got all these exposed tendons and maggots in Rodagus's right hand on the back. So let's pick them out with some Screaming Skull and get the maggots at the same time. Chunk of maggots in here, aren't there? Just like so. Okay, I'll finish this up and be back. Okay, and move on to the next step. Next step's going to be adding a mixture of 1-to-1 of Sigbold Burgundy and Lamy Medium. And we're going to put this more towards the base of the tongue and the mouth here. Do it about halfway up. Now wash the brush, touch off the water, and then kind of blend it in. So there's a blended transition between the 2 colors. Okay, finish up the other side of the tongue and be back. Okay, now we're going to take a little bit of raised bone and we're going to slowly add a little bit of dry brush to the tip of this tongue, kind of like we did with the tentacles. Just a little bit, not a whole lot. About like that. Okay, we're going to move on to our next step. I'm going to start working on these nerdlings down here. This one I'm going to give a coat of Mantis Warrior Green to. I have the wrong paint there, so get rid of it. Okay, on our next color. Next color is going to be a little more Sigbold Burgundy, and we're going to use this on a little more than that. A little nerdling down here, paint his little cloak. Okay, I'll finish this guy up and be back. Okay, on to our next step. Our next step's going to be to paint a little nerdling staff. And we're going to do it with some wildwood. Oops. I have to go back over that again. Deal. Okay, I'll finish this up and be back. Okay, our next step is going to be some skeleton horde. We are going to go ahead and paint a little skull on the nerdling staff. Alright, I'll finish it up and be back. Alright, move on to the next step. Next step is going to be find some Black Templar. We're going to do this on the fly portions of this nerdling and the horns and the mouth in here. So, a little more than that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, be right back. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start working on some of the metallic trinkets he's got hanging off him. Like, started here. this stuff on his wand, and there's a little bell, at least one little bell. I think it's the only one on his body right here. So we'll do those in Balthasar gold. Alright, I'm going to finish those up and be right back. Okay, we'll move on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to put this on the metallics, Balthasar gold that we just painted. And just like this. Okay, we'll finish it up and be back. Okay, next color is going to be some Corax White, and we are going to use this to paint in the eye on Rodigus' hand. Whoops. Got a little bit on lower. Get part there, so get a little wet. Off the brush. Everything and shake it up. Like so. Okay, next color is going to be some Sycorax Bronze. I'm going to use this to highlight through the metallics. Just touching the edges and other points. Like so. And of course, this little guy over here. Alright, I'll finish these up. Be back.
Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe as it really helps the channel out. Try to focus on techniques to give you the most bang for your buck. You may not win you a golden demon, but we'll get you on tabletop looking good. Lickety Split. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.